dead DJI battery recovery experiment so far. Seems to be going fairly well. I had 2 cells of this battery that were just fine. They were a little low, and 1 cell that was down to 0.001 volts. So we are trying to recover that one individual cell. Got the negative lead on the main negative, and then I got the positive to that cell. And we're up to 0.12 volts at this point. It is coming right up. So we might be able to salvage this whole battery. And we're just being real easy with it. Hitting it with 0.015 amp. And I think I've got the max on the voltage set at 0.2 volts. It's bringing it up. And we're up to 1.5 volts. And I've slowly increased the current up to 1.1 amp. And it is getting there. Steady coming up. Alright. You see we've got some more voltage here, and we have upped the current to half an amp. I went ahead and checked it once it got up to about 2 volts on each cell, and plugged it into the DJI charger, and sure enough, some lights started happening. Like that little one right there was blinking, but it was blinking like 16 little flashes in the span of about 6 or 7 seconds, and then it would stop, wait another 6 or 7 seconds, and then start over again. So I mean, that's indicating some kind of a power fault, likely because it was still a little bit imbalanced on that one cell. So now that that one has come up, I'm gonna try and get it up to nominal voltage, which is 11.4. Yeah, 11.4 volts. Pull in half an amp and see what happens, because it was not doing anything before. It is now at least flashing, and I can try and turn it on, and it starts to try and turn on, and then it dies because it's just not enough juice in it yet. Down to 9 volts potentially. I wanted it at least nominal voltage before I even start messing with the CP2112 debugger board. And I'm hoping I can just get this thing to reset, but we'll see. Keep watching it, see what happens. Alright, new development. We are up now to 12.3 volts, still pulling half an amp. But I just tried to click the button and see what happens, and on one click that light would blink 5 times, just to say, you know, like normal, it's almost dead. That's the last little LED on its little meter thing, right? So there's that one, and then that one, and then there's 4 of them. So I clicked the button and held it for, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds, and it stopped blinking altogether, and then I clicked it again, and it's acting like it's charging. That's like what it does when it's charging on the DJI charger. So I'm wondering if this one didn't have a full power fault set in the control board. I'm gonna let it sit there and just charge. It's supposed to keep going until about 13.8 volts, I believe, is the max voltage. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, 13.05 is the max, and the nominal is 11.4. So I will let it get up to about 13 volts and see what happens. Alright, so at this point we are approaching full charge. Still taking as much current as I'm allowing it, 0.8 amps, and we're up to 12.42, and its target is 13.05. Actually, I need to drop that down. 13.04. And just let it keep on going. And I'm stuck at this point on trying to get it to reset itself from playing with the buttons. All I can get it to do will indicate that it's got life in it, and then it'll act like it's trying to turn on and then blink and do that. It'll just sit there and blink and blink and blink and blink for a while and eventually turn itself off. But it acts like, hey look, I'm fully charged, but it's got an issue. So I think that is the internal BMS PF power fault in the on position that needs to be turned to the off position, and we have to use the CP2112 debugger board for that. And there's a couple of different methods to accomplish that. But I think what we're going to try and do is the easy method, to just click it and click it and click it, and it's done with the DJI Battery Killer app. And if you've seen any of the videos on doing this, it's kind of difficult to find and get a hold of that piece of software. So hopefully I got the right one, and we'll see if it works. But I'll show you the whole install process and everything, and then hooking this to the battery and this to the laptop and seeing what happens. I've identified where I need to solder. Alright, so focus, come on. Right there. Focus in the middle of the damn screen. You got like 5 cameras. Come on, phone. That's like what you're made for. But anyway, so from the 101 big, what looks like maybe a MOSFET or a big capacitor or something, and then right below it 330, and then skip a spot and it's 330, and then those two little black guys right there, and then below that the 330. In between the 330s, the right side, or the side that's closest to the little bitty resistors right to the right, yeah, those two little prongs are what you can pin to on this side of the board to get your data and clock connection. Or on the back side of the board you have some nice solder pads labeled SCA and SDA for data and clock. And then you can pick a ground. That big guy right there, he's just fine for your ground lead, and that's your tap into the board. And then everything else you do, you connect it to your corresponding ground and SC or SDA and SCO. I'm sorry for data and clock. And ground where it says GND, and then you're connected. So these are the little guys that I got from, I don't know, Amazon or eBay. Came in a package of 2 and wrapping like that, so they're like sealed and, looks like anti-static packaging with their little connector doodad. So you gotta solder it on if you want to, or you can just solder directly to the pads. And it also comes with USB cable. Connect to it, and regular USB, looks like what, USB-C, yeah, and then a bunch of different little ribbon cables with connectors, so you can plug them in, or you can put the pins into the board and then solder them in. Or I'm not sure if they plug in yet. I haven't tried it, but I don't know if they'd be that tight. Probably have to solder them in if you wanted to do a permanent. I'm just going to use the supplied connector and solder that in where I need it, and use 3 of these guys. That's all I need, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's where we're at here. Alright, a little bit more progress with this project here, and I've skipped forward a little bit and went ahead and did some stuff off camera, but I will go through and do it again on camera because I have 2 more batteries to do. But I ran into a snag with this one. Everything was doing what it was supposed to be doing with the debugger board, and everything was soldered and happy how it was supposed to be, and discovered that the built-in balance lead, I kept getting weird readings when I was trying to test to see, why isn't this working? Why do I keep losing connection? Why is it not working after I actually succeed and go through the whole process of clearing the PF faults and all that? And kept finding just weird readings on the balance connections here. So I pulled that and like actually shucked a little bit of the coating off of that so I could run off of the wire with alligator clips and another alligator clip on the ground there to try and force a balance charge into what that was telling me was a weak cell. But then I went through on the top side, peeled back the paper, and started testing individual cells on the big leads, and guess what? They were all in balance. They were all at like 3.8 volts. They were happy. So what I did was disconnected that little bastard. And see if I can do this without disturbing it here. On the back side of the board there, you see where your data and clock connection are at. Right over next to them, there are also pads that you can solder onto for those balance leads. So that's what I did. I just soldered on some new balance leads and routed them around to the top of the board and soldered them onto their corresponding connections to force a good balance connection. And looky there, it is charging on the DJI charger right about where it's supposed to be too. And it tries to turn on, turns off, it's doing more stuff. So at this point, I'm going to let it charge for a little bit and just see if it powers up and fires up a drone. If not, then I'll go back in through the debugger board and re-clear the faults and look at all of the individual cells through the balance connection, because it can do that, and go from there and see what the hell happens. But I think I might have actually saved this battery. Oh, I just lost my flash, so my battery on my phone's too low. But yeah, I think this one's back to life anyway. And it does appear to be charging normally now. I did go ahead and plug back into it and clear the PF again on it. And I think it took this time, because it went from blink, blink, blink to blink, 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 blink. And it was on blink, blink, blink for, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then just switched to all 4 dots blinking. So it is taking a charge. How about that? Brought that dead battery back to life. And once it's finished charging, I'm gonna test it and see if it powers up the broken drone. I'm not gonna risk it on the new drone yet. But how about that? Alright, I'm gonna try and get this all on camera. So this is a known good battery. Power up the drone. This is a working drone, except for currently the forward main camera is not passing through the core board. Other than that, everything else on this drone works. So we know it works, it fires up, right? Power it down. Take that battery off. And we are almost fully charged on this one. We're going to go ahead and pull that guy off
See if I can do that without screwing anything up here. Oh, okay, got it disconnected there. And can probably unplug that guy. And we will pluggy him in to his pluggy hole. Oh. Alright, come on, fingers. Oh. I think we're plugging it into the right pluggy hole. Alright, let's see what happens. Looky there. That battery is back to life. Look at that. Drone is alive on a previously dead battery. Using the CP2112 debugger board and DJI Battery killer software, and a little bit of troubleshooting and repair and fiddling and figuring out why it wouldn't do what it was supposed to be doing. So yeah, but that is back to life. It does work. It absolutely does work. Might snip that and stick it in the front, just so you can, yeah, no kidding.